Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, something slightly different. I'm often focusing on fountain pens and inks. But the other key part of that trinity is actually paper. So what I'm going to do today, take a closer look at some of the notepads that I'm using and the experiences that I'm getting from them. So join me now, down on the mat, let's jump on in and take a look at the notepads. Welcome down to the table. So today it's going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I'm not going to be pausing to do any writing today. It's all about what I use my notebooks for. I'm just going to do a very quick look at each. If you would like me to do some more in-depth reviews, well then just call out in the comments which ones you'd like to see me doing more detail on. So the first pad I'm going to fetch in. This is a black and red journal. This uses Oxford optic paper, A5 size. I'm going to make sure I skip it back. This is what I use for my daily journal. So every morning I sit down and I use this to journal out my thoughts. The idea of this is I write only one page. I need to condense everything I'm thinking onto one page only to make me be more thoughtful, more mindful, and to reflect on what I'm going to write down so that I'm really thinking about what happened the previous day. So that's the black and red journal. My next book, this is one that you would see virtually every day if you follow my YouTube shorts or if you're on my Instagram, TikTok or, what's the other one? Mastodon and Facebook. This is where I do my daily writing. So as you can see here, I do 2 pages every morning. And then I use this, I post some pictures up onto Facebook and Mastodon. And then I use these to create a short video which I put onto YouTube, Instagram and TikTok. At the moment I'm using a Rhodia A5 notebook. Quite interesting this, and one of the reasons why I do this with all my different papers is I try to use my pens on different paper types just to see how they work. And I certainly find a lot of my pens don't perform very well on Rhodia paper. Now the pen I was using before that, this was a cheaper pad. I got it from a shop called Typo here in Australia. And I'm just doing a very quick flick through. So again, the same thing. My next notebook is one I've decorated because the amount I use it's going to last me, at least 3 if not 4 years. This is a launch term notepad, A5 size. This is what I use for bullet journaling. So I do various things, but one of the things I do, you can see I'm recording this early. I use it to create some stats. There I can see various stats. I've got here some monthly goals, so I'm usually just focused in here on my personal stuff. This is why it's talking more about my YouTube stuff. I have a theme for the year. This year it's the theme of small. If you want to know more about that, let me know. I'm planning on doing a video on one of my other channels maybe about that. But let me know if you're interested in that. Then each day, Monday to Friday, I create a list of things that I want to get done that day. Again, we're focusing here only on my personal stuff. I try to avoid mixing work and personal in the same book. So that's that one. I know we're flying through, aren't we? I've then got an endless recorder. This is, again, A5. This is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. So in here, where you would have seen it, this is what I use when I'm doing my tests for Inkvent. There's a few days worth of the last one. I'd say there's some days from back in 2021. Then I also use it for doing really ad hoc tests of my various pens. So, there's a list. This page here, you can see where I write and where my wife writes. She's got a lot smaller writing than I do, and I don't know why, but she can never get all in a straight line. It tickles me when I see that. So this is just used for ad hoc testing, but using some Tomoe River paper. I've got my Gale and Leather A5 notebook, whizzing through, aren't we? In here, this is where I do my ink and pen tests. So what I try to do for each pen and ink combo I have, I try to do a little bit of writing with each. Again, page of A4. Try and use fairly similar format, so the name of the pen and ink at the top, the date I did it, this number there, that's a page number. Bit of writing, then down at the bottom I do things like line variation, my swipe tests, my flow test. Why I've got that page number is once I do a page, I take a photo of it and then I can put that into my personal database, which is used in an app called Obsidian, and I then link the pen and the ink to that, and I'm able to easily search and see. I just find it a nice, easy way to see what inks and what photos of inks and pens that I've got. So that's that one flown through. The next notebook tells you on the front, pens in use, January 2022 onwards. So this is Oxford paper. This is B5. This is where I do my monthly entries for my pens in use. So jump forward, here's this month's pens. So I'm recording this in March of 2023. There's the pens and the inks that I start with. So this is something, if you follow my videos, you'd have seen this quite often. What you don't see is this book here. This is B6. This is Tomoe River and it's 68 GSM. I wrote it on the back so I would remember. I bought it from Desk Bandit. So in here, I'm trying to avoid showing you the first page. The back page, I did some little bits of testing with ink. But this is also has my pens in use. Why I put this in here is this actually sits in my dead and leather folio here. It just fits in there quite nicely, if I show you. That means I've always know what my currently inked pens are. And if I take one of these out and add another one in, then all I do is just add on to the bottom. So we've got that going back. Now, one of the things, I was looking at this just the other day when I was scripting for this. So I've just had to edit out because I accidentally showed you the front page, which has got my contact details on. I've been using this since November of 2020. And I was thinking the other day, I might actually do a video where we do a quick walk through this, because I think it gives a good idea of what I've been using. And in a way, how, yes, my themes are changing, but also how my tastes are changing. So that's a potential future video. The next notebooks, these are ones you see all the time. Black and red, A5. Lined paper. This is what I use in my videos. Yes, I know I'm being tight. I'm trying to use both sides of the page, so I turn them upside down. Again, I write in here the date when I do the recording, just so I can go back if I want to. And sometimes it's nice just going back and thinking, I can remember that chocolate brown in that X250. It's, again, nice little reminder. And I don't throw things out, so it's always handy to have. Next notebook that you see all the time. This is Ayush A4 notebook. It's actually one I was sent for review by the Australian distributor. So in here, initially we had various bits and bobs, but what I've evolved this to now is this is the notebook that I use for my focus videos. Again, it's nice flicking through this, and if you'd be interested in a video similar to what I'm planning to do with that Desk Bandit notebook where I flick through and look at these, please let me know, drop a comment, because it's actually nice, and one of the things I like about this is being able to go back and see what things were like. As I say, it's interesting how things change over time. I'm running out of places to put all these notebooks. I'm trying to keep this really quick because otherwise I would just go on and on and on. I have a Rhodia A4 notebook. Again, use this for various stuff. I was trying here with a dip pen. Didn't really work out that well. The idea was we wanted to do birthday cards and stuff like that. You now know my wife's name. I also use this, need to make sure I take out some of them pages. When I'm planning new projects, I often use it in here because I can rip it out and move on. When I'm trying new things, this was where I was trying with the Pilot Parallel pens. So again, it's a bit of a mixed use notebook. Next pad I'm going to fetch in, this one, it's a tiny pad. I think it's like B7. This is made by Fabriano. I got a pack with 7 different types of paper. Fits really well in my cargo trousers. So this is where it goes. This is in my cargo trousers. At the moment, it's with a Pilot Prera pen. The idea is this is very loosely held in, so it comes out really easy. So if I'm out and about, I can jot notes down. When I get home, I can just pull them out, chuck them in my inbox, or, to be honest, if necessary, just throw them out. But it's just handy to have that all the time. And as I say, fits nicely in my pocket. I've got loads of pads like this, not this particular style, but loads and loads of very similar ones. These are cheap notebooks. This one, I think it was about $2 for a pack of 3, I think it was. And what I use these for is when I'm making notes. One of my other channels is where I answer quick questions. So obviously I do my research, and what I do is I take my notes into here. I then take the notes I've written in here and type them up. The idea being that the first pass getting them into here, that's reading through the source, pulling out the notes. But then when I'm typing up, I'm thinking about the note, I'm thinking about what it means, and then maybe adding extra bits or even taking stuff out. So this is a fairly oftenly used notebook. I've got another cheap notebook. This one again, I think it was from Typo. It's not A4 size. It's about the height of A4, but it's wider. You know, this one is Marvel. In here, you'll see a lot of, well, you won't actually see this, but it's in front of me a lot of the time. So here, this is my script for my March of 2023 halftime report. So, you know, for each pen, I'm writing down my thoughts on them, just as bullet points. Yeah, so there we go. Then, again, I'm writing out my talking point. I don't read all of this. This is, with these videos, I try and do them without actually having a script. What this is there to help me get my thoughts structured, and then to allow me to come out and at least look at something if I get stuck. Because sometimes, you know, you're talking, you forget what to say, which is what I've just done. That's where having something like this comes in really useful. Again, I've got loads of, not this particular size, but from Typo. They're just handy. I bought all of them when they're on sale. I try to avoid paying full price as much as I can for cheap notebooks. The more expensive notebooks, I don't mind paying the money for them. I've got this pad here. This is a Sketch EL. It's actually, I would say, art paper. It's 120 GSM. It's a cream paper. What I use this for mainly, you know, there I'm trying different pens. But when I'm having issues with a pen, when I'm trying to fix them, I write down the date and time that I use each one so that I can keep an eye on where there's problems. And this is the main reason for this. So I can see, you know, what I'm having a problem with, where I'm having a problem. And, you know, if I come here, we can see there I was doing different writing. I can see the times that I was doing it. Here, you know, I can see that 11:49 AM, it wrote fine. 11:44, I had a hard start. So I can get an idea for what's going on. We're nearly at the end. Next one I'm going to fetch in. This is something my wife gifted me even at Christmas. It's about the size of my computer keyboard in terms of length. And it's just a little notepad. So as I'm working at my desk, as I think of things, I'm using this at the moment. Before I had this, again, I'm not going to show you it. I had another A5 notebook, which always lived on my desk, what I would call my rough book. That's where I would jot down any rough notes. I'm using this at the moment. When this is finished, I'll go back to that rough book. Post-it notes. Let me see if I've got one here. Yeah, here's one I can show you. So on here, I jot little things that I want to remember. So this is some debugging I was doing on an app, and there was some sequence numbers. This isn't the full sequence, it's just the last 4 digits. But little notes like that, you know, I'll write them on there. I can throw them away. Other notes on there. My wife wants me to put some washing on. I make sure she gives me instructions. That way I can't get into trouble for doing it wrong. So Post-it notes really heavily used. The last paper, most of the time it's got typing on and then I add notes to it. So here, you know, this could be don't show writing. So things that I get which are typed, it depends on what it is, because some things, if it's loads of pages, I just work on my iPad with the Apple Pencil. But like here, this is actually my script for this video. As you can see, not really that detailed, but that's because I'm ad-libbing a lot of this. You know, so I just use this. This is an A4 printer paper. Now, I will be honest, I like to use nice paper. This is actually 100 GSM paper. Costs more than the A4. I do have some A4. I'm currently running 2 printers. The old one has still got the A4 80 GSM. I don't know, saying A4 for everything. When that's out, that will obviously be thrown out. I do like, though, using this 100 GSM paper. I think it looks nicer, it feels nicer when I'm writing on it. So that's really what notepads I've got. I said the main one you see, this one, this black and red. Very nice paper. I like Oxford paper, I will be honest. If there are any of these papers, as I've already said, you want me to go into more detail into, please drop a comment down below. Let me know so I can start getting them scheduled into my video planning. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I really like the idea of looking at notebooks. It's part of that trinity of pen, ink and paper that people often they either forget or they overlook. You know, it's something that you really take for granted that you should be able to write on any paper. But it's amazing the different results you get. What are your thoughts on this? What are your experiences with different papers, different notebooks? Please drop your comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.